Okay, this is going to be a quick rundown of the parts that make up the Dreamer model. Here's the main vessel. It's the initial part that you'll place. You've seen here a version with a payload bay and one without. The payload bay is not true to the Dream Chaser that this is modeled after, but it adds a lot of playability, so I've added it here. You've got a nose. The nose can be opened here on the ground. It's a great way to stash a mech jeb, or an extra RCS tank, or batteries, whatever you need for your mission. Then you can close it and you don't have to open it in flight. You can kind of pretend it doesn't exist there, because that doesn't exist in the Dream Chaser either. But I've also added another kind of fanciful part that adds a lot of playability. Here's a nose docking port. The rear docking port on the Dreamer, the one that comes on the actual prototype, the Dream Chaser, can be a little counterintuitive to use for some people, so I put this up there as an option. The first part I place here on the body is the tail. You can see why. It's a bit of a pain to get it to snap on there. Followed here by the wings. The blue cone as you place the tail is the field of view of the camera. There's a camera there that shows down the dorsal side. Next we've got the rear docking port and the OMS engines. So right here to the ventral side. We will throw the landing gear on. 3 of them. I have accurately modeled the front skid, which means it's non-steerable. You have to be pretty darn sure of runway heading before you touch down. You also get the cargo bay inserts that come with it. First is this generic unit that I've loaded with TAC life support here, but you can edit the config file and add whatever resources you'd like to have in there. I've got this unit that carries liquid fuel and oxygen that extends the delta V available to the vehicle. And finally I've got this KAS, Kerbal Attachment System, insert that adds a pipe connector, a winch, and if I stop wiggling things around here and clicking on the wings, also adds a part container. You can sit here and open, and all these attachable parts can be added to it, and then you can pull them out in flight and bolt them to other things. This KAS bay is a great way to turn this into a little maintenance ship that goes up, services a satellite, adds batteries or solar panels, whatever needs to be done, and sets it back on its way. The 2.5 meter adapter here, which I'm attaching now, is what connects it to the launch vehicle. And it's a bit of a hassle to get it wiggling here, but it will attach. There we go. Like I said, it is a standard 2.5 meter attachment there, so you can use whatever launch fuel you want. So I think it's best to use the one I've included because it's got a higher gimbal range and it's a long vehicle, which makes it a little bit easier to launch a vessel with this much drag this far forward. First here I'm going to throw on the Centaur stage. That's the upper stage of the Atlas V launch vehicle. It's the dual engine variant. This variant has actually never flown. Its first official flight was going to be lobbing the Dream Chaser into orbit here in, I think, end of 2015, but you'll see how plans for that change with them losing out on their NASA contract. Here's the Common Core booster at the bottom. The engine is a separate component. There's a narrow inner stage there that you saw me throw on. It's very narrow to try and minimize wobble. I'm going to reinforce this joint between the Centaur and the Common Core booster. I actually misplaced these struts here in this video. They do their job. They actually do attach all the way down there to the inner stage, but I attached them higher than I needed to. I could have gone down one segment there as you look at the paneling on the texture, because the shroud actually begins there, so they didn't have to be that long. There's no harm in it being that way, though.